As many of you are aware, there were a lot of people who came to the scene of this crime yesterday within several hours of the shooting itself. My office at that time had fully deployed our CARES team, our victim witness coordinators team, who immediately got in contact with the families of all of the victims of this shooting, with the exception of the one young man who had not been identified at the time. As soon as he was identified, they kicked into gear to address that. While we were out at the scene yesterday, we were accompanied by Leader Joanna McClinton, who is the Speaker of the Pennsylvania House, Representative Jordan Harris, who is essentially her right hand, the number 2 in the Pennsylvania House for the Democrats. Councilmember Catherine Gilmore Richardson was there. Councilmember Jamie Gauthier was there by phone. She was actually a couple thousand miles away, but wanted to know everything that was going on, and we were in close contact. Vofi Jabata of Akana was there as well. Reverend G. Lamar Stewart was there as well. And we were all struck by many things, but just one of those things was the bicycle, which is still there.
The shooter, you talk about somebody who's licensed to carry who shoots 7 shots at the accused here. Does he hit him at all? Where
No,
those shots come
he does not. He does not hit him. No, he was released. He has a permit to carry, and he had a lawfully owned firearm. He was not charged.
The accused here has a 2004 conviction carrying without a license. Does that have any impact here? Any impact on him carrying these guns?
Well, he would legally not be able to have a firearm based on the fact that he does have a conviction. However, he would not be 6105 for I believe the conviction back in 2004 was only a misdemeanor. So he was not charged in this particular case with a felon not to have a firearm.
So he actually, while he's not licensed to carry,
right,
that's his violation here. Hadn't been licensed to carry.
He wouldn't be eligible to get a license to carry it based on his previous conviction for that case.
What do you know about the AR-15? How long he had it, where it came from, where he got it?
Mr. Wainwright might be able to answer that.
I don't have that information yet at this time. I'm meeting with the detectives later on about that.
Okay. Do not fear. I will get to everyone, I promise. All right. Tasani Veshpongsa. I apologize if I got your name wrong, from AP, Associated Press. Do you have any questions or no? No questions? Okay, thank you. Adam Fox from CBS 3.
What?
Adam Fox?
I remember. Okay?
I think you're reading the list of the crew members.
Oh, okay. Well, let me just make sure I don't miss anybody. If you don't have a question, just feel free to say no questions. Kenyatta Henderson, Fox 29. No questions. All right, thank you. Bruce Ryan, NBC 10. Okay, very good. Well, in that case, let us go to Rosemary Connors of NBC 10.
Thanks. And my questions are for either ADA Christopher or ADA Wainwright. Can you speak at all to the motive in this case and perhaps any planning, premeditation that you may have discovered upon the search of his home or your investigation thus far?
I don't want to speak on any motive. However, I just want to echo what Sheriff Palau said. Obviously, this person, from witness statements and things that we now know about this investigation, was exhibiting abnormal behavior for quite a while in the fact that he was wearing this vest and had these guns inside of his house. So, like we say in a lot of other cases, if you see something, say something. There were other people living in that house that observed his behavior. I just think that maybe if somebody had called or gotten some kind of help for that particular person, this could have been avoided.
What did they think was going on? I mean, you say they observed this abnormal behavior.
I guess it wasn't abnormal to them, but I believe they thought he was getting more and more agitated as the days were passing. And their way of dealing with it was just to avoid it and not interfere with him, even though they all lived in the same house.
Did they describe him as perhaps mentally unstable?
No, nobody described him as such. It was just that was the norm for him, wearing this vest and having guns in the house. But they all described that he was becoming more and more agitated over the last couple of days. So I just feel like, and I'm not blaming anybody, but if anybody out there has such a situation as this, maybe just call somebody, call anonymously like the sheriff said, and maybe he could have gotten help before this became what it did.
How many other people live in the house?
There were 7 other people living in the house.
More and more agitated in the days leading up to the shooting?
That's what at least one of the people who lived in the house described him as becoming more agitated recently. Those were the words, recently.
Did he tell you what he was saying? Was he speaking to them or talking aloud, talking to himself?
No, I think just by what he was doing that they were able to witness that it was becoming more and more over time.
Like what?
So,
What was he doing?
I don't want to say specifically what they said. However, I just want to echo what the sheriff said. If you see something like this or somebody in your family or in the neighborhood, call somebody before something like this happens. Because people are aware of these things. If we just have people reach out, call the police, call 911, call somebody to get help.
Is he wearing a vest and also showing a gun? Is he walking around the neighborhood with a weapon?
Mr. Cole, I think I can answer that question concisely for you. He was wearing a vest, and he was carrying a gun when he was walking around the neighborhood when he did the shooting, and it was not the first time he wore a vest. Senator Street has a comment on the prior question about this bizarre behavior. It is exactly because of things like this that we've been advancing the idea that you need to pass red flag laws. Red flag laws allow if there's a person who's adjudicated because of the right sets of aberrant behavior, a firearm to be removed from those individuals. And the reality is that almost everyone supports them, and I don't know anything about the facts that you don't know. But what I would say is that it is clear that the time for red flag laws has come, something the House has already passed, something that's before the Senate, and we certainly should adopt.
But Senator, no one called. What they're saying is no one called. A red flag law is no good unless you're alerted to it.
True, but had they called, part of why people don't call is we're limited in what can actually happen. And to call and say this person is acting in an aberrant way, and then they still keep the gun. Well, I live in North Philadelphia. People ain't calling unless they think there's going to be a result based on their calling. And so right now in Pennsylvania, we don't have all the tools that are in place that would incentivize people to want to make that call.